Okay, so we are live. I'm going to take questions today again, if you guys have questions, and I do want to talk about I want to talk about 144,000 today. Um, I think I posted a little prophecy update on that, and I thought it'd be good to talk a little bit about that. There's not a whole lot in the news that I mean, there's a lot in the news happening right now, but there's not anything that I want to specifically address from my perspective. But I'm always open to take questions, and I hope I can answer them. If I cannot, then I will get back to you. So, if you get in the room, just let me know. I always enjoy knowing who is there and where they're from. So just put your state or your country. It's kind of encouraging and kind of nice. Cy Blessed, okay. Well, hello there. Oh, Pookie is already in. Pookie is always ready to moderate. So thank you, Pookie, for being ready to moderate. We appreciate you very much. And people are coming in right now. And so uh, I will take the questions when you have them. Remember to put the word questions in all caps in the front, so it helps us, locate the question and answer it if at all possible. And so I'll wait for people to get in, but uh, just very grateful that you are all coming in, and I want to thank you for all of you for your prayers and for your support of our ministry. It makes a big difference. It is such a nice feeling to know that I have so many friends all around the world that are uh, coming in on the internet and connecting with us. So this is just a joy to do this. And okay, Pookie, do you have a question? You said I see the word question there, or are you just showing people what to do when they? Oh, there you go. Question. How do I feel about the deal Lapid is making with Lebanon? Well, is first of all, I don't think he's making a deal with Hezbollah. He wouldn't do that, but it looks for right now. It looks like he's making a deal that's going to be an agreement for the borders. The shared borders, and then for the gas deal. But the problem with those countries is uh, even the countries that are at peace with Israel, being Egypt and Jordan, they it's hard to know if they can be trusted. And Lebanon is for the most part still controlled by Hezbollah, which is a terrorist organization. And so you don't know how much of what they promised would actually stick. Israel is always, they're not perfect, but they're always, when it comes to making deals, they always try to accommodate everybody the best they can. And so we'll have to wait and see on that one, what's going to happen. I'm also a little concerned about Putin starting to threaten Israel. If Israel is going to come to the rescue of Ukraine and sending weapons, then Putin is threatening to respond not so nicely. So that is going to be very interesting. And I think today I read several in the headlines. I read things about Israel going to kind of put a hold on that. They're going to find a way to help Ukraine by not sending weapons, but sending anything else that can help, like humanitarian help, and they can certainly help that way. But Israel is a little concerned that sending weapons might just exacerbate Putin, and right now he's not doing too well in his war against Ukraine. So you don't need to exacerbate him, and that guy is not really thinking straight, and it's a short fuse, and he could just blow a fuse, and next thing you know, he's like using nuclear weapons. So we don't really want that to happen. So I think Israel is kind of holding off on the sending weapons, which I think might be wise for now. So let's see. I saw a question. Will children from unbelievers going to be raptured? Well, only believers will be raptured. If the children of unbelievers are believers, they would be raptured. If they're not, they wouldn't be. That's about as far as I can go with that. Um, let's see. Okay, so all right, Giraffe 2022. You say, I heard the Feast of Trumpet will be thematically fulfilled at the rapture and that it will be fulfilled at the second coming. Well, I believe that thematically speaking, the fall feast, and I have a whole video, I have several videos on my YouTube channel about this actually. The fall feast will be fulfilled by the second coming in general. See, the second coming is of Yeshua is more than the event. You could look at the second coming of Yeshua as an event made of several different events, and the second advent. And so the first part, there's like you could look at it in three parts, and those are the three fall feast. The first part, the first act in this final play here, the first act would be the regathering of the saints, which will be at Rosh Hashanah, will be fulfilled by the rapture, and that's the fulfillment of Rosh Hashanah, the Feast of Trumpets, the Yom Teruah, the Day of Trumpets, and thematically it'll be fulfilled. It will be fulfilling it will be fulfilled by the rapture. So what I mean by that is, it doesn't mean it has to happen on the day of the rapture. I mean, on the day of Rosh Hashanah, it could, but we don't know. We cannot have any guarantee that it would, because that would mean that we have a date for the rapture, and the Bible is clear that we don't. And I've said this many times. So it's and more on those on that question on my videos. But the first act of the second coming play, so to speak, is the regathering of the saint, connected to Rosh Hashanah. Then you have the 7-year tribulation, where God chastises and disciplines Israel, and there's a lot of casualty throughout that time, and it's going to be fulfilled by the Great Tribulation. So that's the fulfillment of Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, a day of affliction in the Jewish life cycle, in Judaism. And then the final act is the third act, which is the actual second coming of Messiah. The rapture is a partial coming in the sky to gather the believers, and then we go to heaven with them. 7-year tribulation. At the end of the tribulation, Yeshua comes back with the saints and establishes the millennial kingdom. Final campaign of Armageddon. And that's when the remaining Jewish people, through the tribulation, say Baruch haba b'Shem Adonai, and come to a saving knowledge of the Messiah. They become believers, and that's when the second coming of Yeshua happens. So really, the second coming event can be divided into 3 acts in that the play of the second coming. First part is the Rosh Hashanah, fulfilled by the rapture thematically. Second part is Yom Kippur, fulfilled also thematically by the Great Tribulation, the time of Jacob's trouble. And the third part is the Feast of Tabernacles, Sukkot, when we tabernacle in the millennial kingdom with the Messiah himself. So that's how you summarize it. Okay, so let's see. I hope this helps, Giraffe 2022. Let's see. Do you think that America is now doomed for its stand against Israel? America is not really in Bible prophecy. Neither are a lot of countries. But in a sense, America is remotely in Bible prophecy, because in Zechariah chapter 12, we're told that, I believe it's 12, Let me see. I think it's Zechariah 12:3. Let me see. Zechariah is right here, 12:3. It will come about in that day that I will make Jerusalem a heavy stone for all the peoples. All who lift it will be severely injured, and all the nations of the earth will be gathered against it. So America will gather, will fight against Israel, and will be punished accordingly. So America is not in Bible prophecy by name, but in a sense, it is included in that worldwide coalition, so to speak, coalition of hate against Israel in the end times. So are we doomed? Well, America might be doomed, but it doesn't mean that American individually are doomed, and especially believers who are supporters of Israel and lovers of the Jewish people are not going to be doomed. So that's the way you can look at it. But we are definitely this administration is a lot less friendly to Israel than the previous administration. So hopefully this will change soon. What are my thoughts on Israel finding their Messiah? Well, there is a rumor right now, and this is kind of a crazy rumor. I haven't really looked into it that much because I think it would be a waste of time. But there's a rumor that there is a rabbi in Israel, or maybe more than one rabbi, who have actually, but I think right now it's one specific rabbi, I do not have his name, who is conversing with the Messiah. He's actually met with the Messiah and conversed with the Messiah. So we know that it is not in line with what the Bible teaches us, and that would definitely be a false Messiah, because the real Messiah is not going to be touching earth until the second coming at the end of the 7-year tribulation, when he splits the Mount of Olives in two. At the rapture, he doesn't touch. He just comes in the air, the trumpet, blows the trumpet, the shofar, and then we all are joined with him at the rapture. So as far as Israel finding the Messiah, Israel remnant, the surviving Israel at the end of the 7-year tribulation will find Messiah. And it's in Zechariah 12:10, I will pour out on the house of David and on the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and supplication, so that they will look on me whom they have pierced, and they will mourn for him as one mourns for an only son, and they will weep bitterly over him like the bitter weeping of a firstborn. That's what prophecy talks about, talking about the Jewish people realizing at the end of the tribulation, oh my goodness, we forgot, we rejected Yeshua as the Messiah, but he is the Messiah. And that triggers in the second coming. Jewish people calling on Yeshua, Baruch haba b'shem Adonai, triggers the second coming. No Jews, no second coming. Why do you think Satan is so hell-bent, pardon my French, on killing the Jews, so that they will not call on Yeshua, so he can continue doing his work of his destructive and deceiving work? That's why. And so as far as Jewish people, there are Jewish people that find the Messiah, like myself 40 years ago, individually, but as a nation, it will happen at the end of the 7-year tribulation. So I hope this answers your question. Let's see. Somebody is wondering. Jay Miller is wondering if the man that named as the Messiah, and I don't know who they named as the Messiah. I have not looked into this, because I don't think that the Antichrist will be identified until after the rapture. It could be very, shortly after the rapture, or, hours, days, weeks, months, we don't know, but that will he will be identified, and then he will sign, soon after that, a peace treaty, not a covenant necessarily. And he's not going to claim to be the Messiah either. He's going to sign a peace treaty, and he's going to bring peace, false peace, in the Middle East, and that will trigger the beginning of the 7-year tribulation, according to Daniel 9:26-27. So I don't believe that I don't know, the man who is actually being identified as the Messiah by that rabbi in Israel could possibly be the Antichrist. He could be, but he might not be You will not. I don't think it will be identified as such until after the rapture. And since I'm pre-trib, and I don't know how many of you are pre-trib, we are going to be raptured before the arrival of the Antichrist. I think we should worry a little less about who the Antichrist is going to be, because it's not going to affect us whatsoever. What we need to worry about is letting people know who do not know Yeshua about what's going to happen, without knowing who the Antichrist is going to be still, but let them know what's going to happen. Like, this is what I do with my sister recently, and let them know, listen, you need to put your trust in Yeshua right now. If you don't, after we're all gone, you can still do it, but it's not going to be easy, because you will be martyred. You'll be suffering greatly, but at least you'll put your faith in Messiah. But we need to get people saved before we go. The rapture is not an escape route for Christians to leave and then not worry about what's going on. The rapture is a beautiful time where we're going to go and be reunited with Yeshua and receive our glorified body, but it should really burn inside. It should really give us a burden and a desire to share the gospel with the lost, because really, if the person who led you to the Lord had not done so, you would be with the rest of the people that are going to be left behind, and you could be doomed for all eternity. So we need to be thinking about that. How many people can we reach before we are raptured? And since we don't know when the rapture is, it's imminent, could happen anytime. There's no signs needed before that. We need to double our efforts of sharing the gospel with our neighbors, our coworkers, people at the store. I don't care if people think I'm crazy. I'm just going to tell people about Yeshua. And I don't do it enough myself. But we need to really do more of that. So, so many questions. Are there female angels? Uh, I don't think that angels. I don't think that angels are actually. I'm not even sure they're identified by a sex. I think they're asexual. But let me see. You're asking about Zechariah 5:9. I'm not sure about that scripture. So hold on. Zechariah 5:9. Where is that? Okay. Then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and there were two women, and there two women were coming out with the wind in their wings, and they had wings like the wings of a stork, and they lifted up the ephah between the earth and the heavens. That is an interesting scripture, to say the least. Um, let's see. Well, it's possible. It's possible that I based on that scripture, I would have to look a little more into it. But I've always believed that angels did not really identify with a particular sex. So that's a new one to me. So for right now, I am stumped. Who asked that question? I want to go back on the chat here. Matostruck. Well, Matostruck, I do not have an answer yet. I might have to look into it and give you a better educated guess, because I don't think I will be dogmatic on that. But for right now, I cannot give you an answer. Just want to be honest. Okay, so let's see. Do I think the 7-year MOU the U.S. signed with Jordan last month might be built upon to be the peace treaty? I don't know. I can't tell. The peace treaty is going to be between the Antichrist and Israel. So I don't know. There's a lot going on right now in the Middle East, with the Abraham Accords and more and more Arab countries coming to a place where they don't want to be the enemies of Israel anymore, and they're opening their borders and their having relations, business, and ambassadors and different relationships they're opening and doing business with Israel. I think it's preparing the ground for the Antichrist. I think it's going to facilitate things, but right now, countries are changing. Like, look, um, a few days ago, the new prime minister of Great Britain wanted to move the Jerusalem, what you call it, the embassy to Jerusalem, And it was like, oh, great, that's not going to hurt. That's a great move. And now she just resigned today. She resigned after 44 days. I think it was the shortest lived prime minister. I mean, she took office like a couple of days before the queen died, and she just resigned. So that's going to be interesting. And and then so that was in England, in Great Britain, so that's on hold or probably not going to happen. And then Australia just backpedaled, saying like, we do not support the move of the embassy in Jerusalem either. So even those countries who are not necessarily antagonistic against Israel in the Western world, they are making moves. Every other day is different. So I don't know. It's hard to keep track of what's going on as far as peace in the Middle East. What we know for sure is that the Antichrist will sign a treaty that will bring peace, a semblance of peace. It will look really good for a while, but I believe it will be after the rapture. Uh, okay, Julie Justice question. Oh, by the way, thank you to I don't know who. Bible Prophecy and Eschatology is the name. Okay, so let's see. Thank you for your super sticker or whatever that you call them for your donation. Hold on, let me. This is going too fast for me. Woohoo! Let's see. Address the new clips on a Messiah having already chosen. Well, I just discussed that a few minutes ago. I have not watched any of the clips. All I know is that there is a Messiah. There is a person that a rabbi has identified as a Messiah. And frankly, friends, we know that the Messiah is Yeshua, Jesus, and he's going to return physically on earth at the end of the 7-year tribulation. So anybody before that is a false Messiah. Doesn't mean they're the Antichrist. There's been false Messiah throughout history. Bar Kokhba was one of the first identified false Messiah at the Bar Kokhba revolt in the 1st century AD. And then you had another one by the name of Shabbatai Zvi in Eastern Europe, claimed to be a Messiah. And then it turned out that he was under pressure. He converted to Islam, some Jewish Messiah, if you ask me. And then in 1994, this is the year that he died. In 1994, there was a man who was born in Brooklyn by the name of Menachem Schneerson, the Chabad Lubavitch Rebbe, who had no children, no son, and so he died with no descendants, and he was never said it himself, but he was declared by his own people, the Chabad Lubavitch sect of Judaism, as the Messiah. Well, he's been in the grave since 1994, and he has not risen, and he was not born of a virgin, and he was not born in Bethlehem, and he was born in Brooklyn. So all those things are pretty much disqualifying him. As much as people call him the Messiah, he's disqualified. And this new messianic figure, the Jewish Messiah, really, if you go back to Genesis 49:10, the scepter shall not depart. Actually, let me just read. Let me go to Genesis 49:10, because that's an important verse that a lot of people forget to take in consideration. This is it's in the dream of Jacob's dream. He's talking about Judah, and he's talking about all his sons. And in 49:10, he says, "The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, until Shiloh comes, and to him shall be the obedience of the peoples." All rabbis, just about all rabbis of history, have always looked at this verse saying, this speaks of King Messiah. Okay, so why is it important? Well, it doesn't speak of him by name, but it speaks of King Messiah. And so the scepter shall not depart from Judah. So Judah is mentioned there, and the scepter and the ruler's staffs. It means that the Messiah is going to be. You got to be able to identify the Messiah while the tribe of Judah is still able to be identified. Why is it important? Because, and by the way, Shiloh means the one to whom it belongs. In Hebrew, it means the one to whom it belongs, which is a euphemism for King Messiah. Yes, all rabbis, they will agree on that. And there's another mention of Shiloh in let's see, I don't have the reference here, but I think it's either in Ezekiel or Zechariah. So it's used in other places of the Old Testament. So it is definitely a reference to the Messiah. Why is this important? Because if you have to be able to identify the coming Messiah as being from the tribe of Judah, you must be able to know the tribal records. And all the tribal records, except for the tribe of Levi, which was carried in the last name, like Levi, Levi, Cohn, Khan, Cohen, Leventhal, Lowenthal, all those names are uh, proves that you are Jewish from the tribe of Levi. But all the other tribes, the records were kept in a temple in Jerusalem. And that temple in AD 70 was destroyed completely with the records. So Jewish people today do not know what tribe they're from, and there's no DNA test that can actually attest to the tribal lineage of Jewish people. That's not possible. You can find out if you have Jewish blood, being Ashkenazi or Sephardic, Eastern Europe or Spain and North Africa and Middle East. That you can, but you cannot identify your tribe unless you're from the tribe of Levi. So to be able to identify that the Messiah would be from the tribe of Judah, you have to be able to identify the tribal lineage, the tribal records. And so since they were destroyed in 70 AD, guess what? The Messiah had to come before 70 AD, which of course Yeshua did. It's a very important scripture. Now, that was his first coming. The Jewish people did not expect him to come and suffer and die, and that would be the end of what they thought would be the life of the Messiah. Now, in Judaism, Jewish people who are, studying the scriptures of religious Jews, which is probably about 15% of the Jewish people of the world, will tell you that there is a belief that's very common within Judaism of two Messiah, Messiah ben Yosef and Messiah ben David. Ben Yosef, or son of Joseph, is Joseph of Egypt, not the Joseph, the father of Yeshua. Joseph, son of David, a son of Joseph, is the one Messiah that will suffer and die for his people. And that has happened in the first coming of the Messiah. And then there is a Messiah ben David, son of David, that will come and reign and conquer and reign in Jerusalem, and that's happening in the future. So Jewish people see a first Messiah coming to die for his people, and a second Messiah coming to conquer and reign out of Jerusalem. And I say, you know what? My Messiah is both. He's Messiah ben Yosef, who died for his people when he first came, and he brought peace in the heart of men. And then you have the second coming of the Messiah to bring peace in the world and to come in and reign out of from the throne of David out of Jerusalem. So my Messiah will be both Messiah ben Joseph and Messiah ben David in one person. In Judaism, this is two different Messiah. So we're pretty close, except that I see one person, two comings. Jewish people see two different people, each one with one coming. So there's a lot of similarity there. So I hope I answered that question. But remember, Genesis 49:10, the Messiah had to come before 670 AD. So anybody coming after that is automatically disqualified. So I don't care where this person is in the Middle East right now. He is not the Messiah. Not at all. Cannot be. Let's see. Question from Pookie. Month ago, you did the Levitical Feast on Prophecy calendar. Will you be doing any other studies according to the prophecy calendar? Well, like what, Pookie? I mean, what do you mean? What, like, I've done, the feasts, and so they are, they're all on my videos. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing anytime soon according to the calendar. You'd have to be more precise what you mean by that. Who is the Lord speaking of in Revelation 12:17? Okay, and that is from Paul Favata. Let's see. Revelation 12:17. The dragon was enraged with the woman and went off to make war with the rest of her children. Well, the woman, 12:17 is the, so we have the, that right there. Hold on just a second. Let me make sure I get you right. The rest of the children will be the believing remnant of Jewish people who come to faith in Yeshua during the tribulation, and so the enemy is going after the Jews during the tribulation, and that's where a Gentile who gets saved during the tribulation will actually help Jewish people, and that's a fulfillment of the prophecy and the passage that we read in Matthew 25:31 through 46, I believe, the goats and the sheep. Let me give you the exact scripture. Yeah, 31 through 46. The goats and the sheep. That's what it is. Okay, so the woman is, the Israel, and the children is the Jewish believers during the tribulation, and the dragon is the enemy. So let's see. Okay, what do I have? Okay, so according to Zechariah 6:2, do you think that the white horse rider will be number 3 and not first rider like it says in Revelation? I'm going to have to look into that one, Bible prophecy and eschatology, because I'm not. This is not something that I can give you an answer right away without looking. So let me give it a look and maybe get back to you. Maybe you can send me your email. You can email me at Olivier Melnick, number 4 truth. Olivier Melnick for truth at gmail.com. And I'll look into it and give you an answer, because that might take a little more time. I want to answer the other questions. Sorry about that, but thank you for asking the question, and I do want to answer it. I don't want to ignore it. Why do Jews wear skull caps? Like this one? By the way, this one is pretty cool. It says Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Messiah. And this was, I have a couple of those different colors, and it's really cool to have a yarmulke like this that, that says Jesus Christ on it. So I think it's pretty cool. For Jewish people, for religious Jews, it is mandatory to cover your head in respect for God, in reverence for God. Under the authority of God, you cover your head. So Jewish people cover their head. Very religious people, we usually wear a black one, and no color, no design, definitely not Jesus Christ on it. And they will wear it all the time, except when they go to bed or when they take a shower or a bath, which makes sense. And depending on your level of religiosity or your level of practice, if you're less religious, a, you've got the Orthodox, the Reform, the conservative, and the Orthodox. So the most religious one are the ultra Orthodox, who will wear it all the time. Then you've got the conservative, maybe not all the time, maybe you would, for special holidays, for Shabbat at home and at the synagogue. And then you got the Reform that wear it very little, if at all, and sometimes women wear it when really it's technically supposed to be only men. But the yarmulke, I mean, I don't wear it all the time. I wear it because I'm really, really proud of my Jewish identity as a believer, and it's become some kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Of a culture, a symbol of the culture, a symbol of identity. But it's not. It's not necessarily a necessity, and it's definitely not biblical. Not in the sense that it's against the Bible, but it's not. It's not something that comes from the Bible. Like, for instance, the fringes that we have on the prayer shawls that were originally on the garments of the Jewish people back in the biblical days, are from the Bible, from the book of Numbers, I believe, where we're told to put fringes on our garments, and they were kind of like in a sense, the granddaddies of WWJD. What would Jesus do? Because you would put those fringes on your garments, and it would remind you of God's presence in your life anywhere you went. And so you would have to be a good witness to your neighbors and your friends, and on in your whereabouts, wherever you were, because you were an ambassador for God. So those were the reminders of God in your life. And so they still exist to this day, and they are the foundation for that is in the Bible. The yarmulke, which means skull cap, or kippah, which means head covering, skull cap, is not, you don't find it in the Bible. You find the priest wearing a turban, but that's not really where the yarmulke comes from. All right. Let's see. Yes, Spooky, please like and subscribe. Absolutely. I would love more people to like and subscribe and tell their friends. Okay, I have no idea how far I need to go back. Giraffe 2022, and I apologize if I skipped some questions, you guys. Let's see. Oh, it's going too fast. I skip a lot of questions. Okay, hold on. Let's see the best I can do here. It keeps moving. Let's see. Okay, so I did try to answer your question, a Bible prophecy in the super chat, but I told you that I would have to go look into it a little more and get back to you. So I don't know if you heard that. I mean, because this is an area where I'm not super familiar, so I don't want to end up studying something right now in the midst of the conversation here, but I will definitely answer you. And the best way would be for you to remind me of that question in an email that you can find under the video, or I can just put it. I could put my email right now in the chat, which is Olivier Melnick for truth. Let's see, truth at gmail.com. So anybody who wants to ask me a question, let me double check I didn't make a typo. Anybody who wants to ask me a question, pick up that email in the chat and ask me a question. Olivier Melnick for truth at gmail.com. Send me that question and I will answer it personally in an email. I promise I will, if I get that email from you. All right. So, okay. I'm missing a lot of. Remember, friends, if I don't answer your question because I did not see it, as this thing is going down pretty fast, you have to email me to ask me, okay? Because I will not go. I don't have time to go back to all those. All right. Do Jews, when they look for the Messiah, know that he has to be born in Bethlehem? No, not necessarily. Jewish people have they have very little knowledge of uh, of messianic prophecies. So they might not know that it says he has to be born in Bethlehem, or born of a virgin, or tribe of Judah, or line of David, or they might not know all those things. So that's why it is incumbent. It's important on for us, the believers, to know the messianic prophecies, and to, when we talk to Jewish people, say, "Hey, did you know? Did you know? Did you know?" And then point them to the messianic prophecies of the Old Testament that point to the Messiah, because that's a good way to witness. It's a very good way to witness, because it's using the Jewish Bible to show the Messiah, not using the New Testament. We believe in the New Testament, but my people, they don't. So if you can use the Old Testament, it's to get started. It's a lot better. Okay, so let's see. Yes, somebody asked me if I'm a Messianic Jew. Yes, I am a Messianic Jew. I'm a Jew who believes that Jesus is the Messiah of Israel, is my Lord. I gave my life to him 40 years ago, and I've been following his teaching ever since. So I am a saved Jew, saved by the blood of Messiah, Jesus, Yeshua. Absolutely. And Giraffe 2022 already told you I was, so there you go. Anyway, but I want to confirm that. Okay. Yes, I don't mean to make you upset, for your question that you ask in the super chat. But again, I see this like throughout the whole thing. I will answer you in an email. Question: how do you address LGBTQ community, and why? How is that worse than breaking 10 commandments? Thank you. Well, how do I address it? I don't really, this is not an area of my ministry where I actually have a lot of interaction. I mean, I do know people who are, who belong to some of those letters. And if they ask me, if they know me, I'll tell them where I stand on the Bible. But I'm not an activist, making, like there's other people that speak more, you know, intently and loudly about it. And I'm not against that. I just like, this is not an area where I have a lot of interaction in that area, because I don't do, my writing and my teaching is not really in that area. So I don't interact with that segment of the population. So I don't really address it. I don't think it's biblical. I don't think, I think that God intended for marriage to be specifically the way he said in the Bible, in Genesis chapter 2, and that's about as far as I'm going to go with that. What does it mean? They say they are Jews but are not. You got to give me the scripture for that. Can't answer just like that. Let's see. Okay, Bible prophecy and eschatology, is that the same person that you're calling Sally Pookie Martinez? Is that Sally? Because I really don't want to sound rude, but I have to study that question, and I don't want to give the wrong answer. And so I'm sorry that I can't do it right now, but I want to be honest with you. If I would answer it, I would just kind of, be guessing, and that's just not fair. Okay. So we're going to wrap this up, but let's see if I have any. Let's see. What does it mean when you wear the little cap on your head? I just answered that earlier in the video, so I'm not going to say it again. Studying the Feast of Dedication, which is Hanukkah. Okay, well, we're coming on Hanukkah in about a month and a half, so I'm going to do a special on Hanukkah, and I'll do a video on it. I already have one on my channel, but I'll do a fresh video, and I will talk about Hanukkah, because there's a lot of connection with the book of Daniel, also with the extra biblical books of First, Second, and Fourth Maccabees from the Apocrypha. So I will we'll address that when I get to it, and maybe in a month or so. So be patient with me. Okay, so let's see. Good. Thank you for emailing the question. I believe it's Sally. Yes. You emailed the question. I will get to it. I'll try to get to it today, but I have to go teach a Bible study in a little bit, so I might not be able to do that. But I will answer your question in the next couple of days. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for your generosity. I appreciate all your donations, you guys. You are very, very kind. Have the rabbis been successful in hiding rabbis' kaduris of Yeshua as Messiah message from the rest of Israel? I am not familiar with that, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is the rabbi that is saying that he is meeting with the Messiah right now, and if he's meeting with the Messiah, it couldn't be with Yeshua, because Yeshua has not returned yet. So we have to be careful with that. Okay, we're going on 45 minutes, so I'm going to try to wrap it up. Any final questions? Remember, if I did not answer your question, please email it to me, and I will honor that question the best I can. Yes, one day. You want me to do my testimony? Well, tell you what, next time I do an Ask Olivier live, I will give my testimony. I will make a note of it, because I will probably forget. So Matos Struck next time, hopefully next week or the week after that, remind me, and I will start with my testimony, so it'll be recorded on the video. That's a great idea. I would love to do that. All right, friends, listen. That's about it for me. I again thank you for being part of this Ask Olivier today, and I really appreciate you coming in. I am going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time. Again, if I did not address your question, it's not because I avoided it. It's because it went too fast for me, and I just could not read them all. And if you repeat that question in an email to Olivier Melnick, number 4, truth@gmail.com, I will do my best to answer the questions as fast as I can. All right? I appreciate all your attendance today. You're coming into this meeting, and it's always a joy. I wish we could really do a conversation in person, like on Zoom. But thank you for coming. God bless you. Until next time. Pookie, thank you so much for moderating. You are a blessing to me, Pookie. Thank you so much. God bless you all, and I will see you next time. Maybe we'll do a Zoom one day. Maybe I'll do a Zoom, and that would be fun. So let me think about that. All right. God bless you, and until next time, Shalom b'Yeshua.